Hello once again. We are back with the third and final movement of Tchaikovsky's First Piano Concerto in B flat minor, and the final movement is an Allegro con fuoco, which means fast with fire, lively with passion, very energetic. So it certainly gives us a sense of what to expect, in particular because of the passion and intensity we've already heard, most notably with the first movement. So yes, no doubt Andre Watts, Joel Levy, and the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra will give us some passion and fire. Let's hear it, the conclusion to Tchaikovsky's First Piano Concerto, which, as I said, is an Allegro con fuoco. bravo. It's great. I love that third movement, and I'll probably be in the minority here, but I think it's actually perhaps the best movement in the piece. The first movement, of course, is going to attract the most attention and the most critical acclaim, and don't get me wrong, as I said, the whole first movement is just a monumental experience, and that opening 45 seconds or so is one of the best minutes in classical music I can think of. But I feel like this third movement, it's very coherent and cohesive, and there's more bright, sonorous sonics. It's a bit less dissonant and dramatically intense, so I think it has a more immediate appeal. It's less demanding on the ear, which again is in no way a critique of the first movement. But yes, I think it's more immediately accessible, is I guess what I'm saying, than the first movement. And again, the second movement is fantastic too. It provides a slightly more lyrical contrast and a bridge to this third movement, which becomes a bit more grand and certainly very fiery and lively. But yes, I feel like on this listening, which again, this isn't a piece I've heard repeatedly over the years. I've definitely heard it in full before, but not as many times as some of the symphonies and indeed concertos with which I'm more immediately and extensively familiar, like, for example, Beethoven's Fifth Piano Concerto, The Emperor. That one I've heard many, many times, so I feel like I have a more 360 knowledge or understanding of it. But on this listening, at least, this third movement just really hit the spot. So yes, it is of course a great concerto overall, and as I said, I think Andre Watts does a very spectacular performance. I did actually notice, I checked online because I was trying to get a sense for his time range as a performer and just his life overall. He actually passed away 2 years ago, so kudos to and RIP to Andre Watts, who died in 2023. I think this is a marvelous performance. Of course, shout out also to Yoel Levy and the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra. I think they provide great accompaniment. So yes, once again, thank you to those who've been following along these classical days, and to the person who has been asking for this reaction for a couple months now. As I said, somewhere down the road, after we do some other pieces, maybe I'll come back and do a reaction to the Ivo Pogorelic, I think, is it Pogorelic, recording of this same concerto. In the meantime, we've got some great other pieces coming on this final finale day of Classical Days, so hopefully you've been enjoying the journey. And to those who are looking forward to me getting back to regular reactions, I do understand, but I thank you for your patience and my indulgence. In any case, I'll see you in a moment for the next piece. Cheers.